Okay, now we are live and checking for Instagram. We're live on Instagram now and Facebook, so you can go ahead and go into your page and share it if you would like. Hey everyone! I'm here with OKAYFINE, who will be one of our DJs. We are interviewing for our JamTube series. This is Casey joining us. I love your tattoo. Oh my gosh, I'm mesmerized by it.
Oh, thank you. All right. And then you said you're live on Instagram as well?
We are. Hey guys on Instagram. Yes, we're live on Instagram. I don't know how you would share it on Instagram because I'm just videoing us here right now live on Facebook.
Okay.
But I will send you the link. We're going to put it up on our YouTube channel. So I'll send you the link. You'll be able to share, and then you can also share from our platform as well on Instagram. Got it?
Yeah.
Good. So where are you joining us from?
I am in Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside of DC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, we were live with Artis, who is right on the border. Do you know her, Artis Moon?
It sounds familiar. Not Atticus, right?
No. Although they do have similar vibes for sure and similar looks. But no, Artis will be doing some sound healing and Reiki and some art jam workshops at FlowJam. But yeah, I did an interview with her a couple days ago. So you guys are coming from the same space in Maryland, maybe not the same space, but on that borderline. Just
okay. I'm sure we've crossed paths at some point, but
yeah. Anyone who's joining us now, just comment, share this throughout your platforms. We're going live over the next couple weeks with different artists who's going to be on our lineup. And today we have Casey, which goes by the name OKAYFINE as your DJ pseudonym. And I'm just going to ask you some questions and roll with it. Is that good with you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool, because we've never actually met before. So I'm excited to kind of learn about you. So tell us first, what's your musical vibe? What do you like to play? And how did you get started in this?
So, I guess, so my musical vibe, I mean, I guess it really depends on like the audience or like the kind of setting I'm playing for. So I play everything from like down tempo stuff you would hear like deep playa kind of vibes, or everything up to like melodic techno or tech house. But I would say like my passion really lies within like the tribal aspects of like Afro house and deep house, where it's like, in my opinion, it's truly like I mean, you can have a spiritual experience on the dance floor with just about any kind of music, I guess. But for me, what really like touches my heart and I feel like I can have some of my soul shine through is with deep house and those more primal like Afro house beats with drums and vocals and chanting, stuff like that. And I kind of I found house music like back in 99. So I was like 17 and started going to raves like up and down the East Coast. And then in 2013 was the year I went to Burning Man. And then that kind of all changed. I heard like deep house and kind of found like a community that I never even knew existed. And that was just like a really powerful year for me in general. Worked with plant medicines like pretty heavily that year too. So that kind of like set me off on this like different path. And then so I had always back in like 2001, I got some turntables and started trying to teach myself how to play. So I had like a bunch of drum and bass and house records. But I didn't really know anyone who was DJing that I could like buddy up with and learn from. So that kind of fell to the wayside. I actually still have my turntables downstairs collecting dust, but and then in 2018 at the Peck Summer Festival up in Darlington, Maryland, I camped with for many years the camp counselors, and we always had sound at our camp. So there was always a lineup of DJs. And finally, just randomly, we were doing setup on like a Thursday, and someone had just finished playing, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to play?" And I was like, "I don't have like music or anything." And they're like, "Here, you could just use my USB." And so I had only touched CDJs like one other time in a lesson with a friend of mine. And so I was like, all right. And I just kind of started messing around. And then I ended up playing for like 3 hours to like a whole entire yard full of people. Um, and that's kind of where it started. And like 3 days after that, I bought my equipment and just started teaching myself. And it just made sense. It just all kind of made sense. And so yeah, that's kind of where I started. And then about a year later, I had a little Phoenix come into the world. So that kind of slowed my DJing down. And so I'm trying to combine the dad life and the DJ life and make that my mission. So
Nice. And yeah, we haven't I know that you play a variety of different things, asking about like different times. We've never actually done a sunrise set at FlowJam. But I do, that's funny that actually probably not funny, but very serendipitous that your first year at Burning Man was 2013. That was my first year, and that spaceship was like, I don't know if you've been back, probably you have, but
I haven't, but
oh, okay. Well, that was the best burn I think I've seen with that big spaceship, and it kind of like catapulted me into, what I'm doing now, which is, running a festival in itself. So that's really cool that that was your kind of like start, because I really, can resonate with that.
yeah.
So, have you been to healing arts festivals before?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that probably the closest one to, I would imagine, like the vibe at FlowJam. And I wasn't DJing there, but I was booked as a artist, visual artist. So the Love and Light Festival up in, which also at the same place PEX used to be in Darlington.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Love light.
forget what.
Love light.
Love Light, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I can't think off the top of my head what other ones I've been to. Like there was one in Florida that I went to a few years ago. But yeah, the festival life has been kind of very
Just waving to the people on Instagram.
oh yeah, yeah. It's since the baby came along, I've been kind of chilling on going to festivals, but I'm
Right.
slowly trying to
How
dip my
old's the
toes.
babes?
He'll be 4 in September.
Oh, are you gonna bring him to FlowJam?
I am, yeah. So
Yay. That's
yeah,
awesome. We
yeah,
love
I'm
our
really excited.
at FlowJam. They jam out. They have a good time.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I read on your bio, or not bio, but your application was that if you had started a festival, you had a farm that you grew up on or something. Tell me more about
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
me.
So yeah, it was my grandparents' farm up in Cecil County, Maryland. And like when I first started going to raves, like I would always go back there. I mean, we lived like 5 minutes from there, and then we actually moved in there later on. And just always used to tell my parents, like, one day I want to have a festival here. Like, obviously it couldn't be too big. I mean, it was like a 12-acre farm, but plenty of room to have what I wanted to do. And I could just picture the entire thing. And unfortunately, um, they sold the farm back in, I think, like 2016 or so. But you never know. One day I might buy the farm back and make something happen there. But yeah, it's something that I always pictured, whether it's, there or somewhere else. So it's awesome that you kind of had the same idea and had it come to fruition.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the spiraling of events, I've been thinking about it because it's our 10th year and I want to like do something special. I'm about to announce something really big, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, it's like kind of a tornado of events in a good way that led me to this path, which has definitely not been what I like first envisioned, which when I first, created this festival, it was a fundraiser for a school in Africa that I'd gone to teach at after my yoga teacher training. I did that with the Africa Yoga Project in Kenya, and then went down to Tanzania and volunteered at a school. And I came back really inspired because this guy had started a school in his backyard. And it was just amazing to me because he, basically had nothing except for this place and managed to somehow get all the things to build a school and get donors. And, and now 8 years later, he's graduating their first class because it's like a K-8. And now they've built dormitories where people live
Oh,
or
wow.
kids live. And they, I think, almost, if they haven't already, reached their goal of raising $100,000 for cafeteria so that the kids can eat clean meals because their kitchen and cafeteria wasn't good before. So it's super, super impressive. But yeah, I came back really inspired and just kind of my dad got sick with dementia and he passed away at the end of last year, but he started getting sick and we were going to sell the farm. He was moving out and to move in with my mom. And I got this like overwhelming urge of like, we need to do something there before we sell it. Like, and I just kind of spinned the, how you can like kind of work your parents into saying yes to something. And
Right.
because it was for the children in Africa, because we were selling the farm, I managed to convince them to allow me to host 10. I think we originally had 10 bands come out, and we just had four yoga teachers or something, 4 workshops. It was more about just the music and having the healing aspect involved. But because I was a newly trained teacher, and so all my friends, we were like, yeah, let's do this. And it kind of came together as like, what do we like to do? We like to flow and we like to jam. So we put those two together. And yeah, like I got a band to move into. I mean, I didn't get them, but they like saw our empty house and they moved in, and we ended up keeping the farm for we didn't sell the farm until 2020. And so I actually did 4 more events on that property before we moved it to another 200-acre farm in Lovettsville. And now we did 2 years there, and now we're on our 4th year at Verdun. So it's like a really amazing new home. But yeah, it's been a journey. Definitely, I never like thought like I want to do a festival here. Like I always just saw my sister throwing big parties when we were out of town, or apparently when my parents were asleep, she would throw these big parties. And so it was like my mission as a little sister being like, I want to throw a big party at our farm now. And I got them to do it. And it just like the community showed up, and I'm just really amazed year after year how much it grows. And then how many people just, like yourself, come out of the woodworks and find us and, apply. And I've met so many amazing people just through the application process. So it's become quite the thing. But it started as just a baby seed, not even really thinking that I was going to do it a year.
Like as like a year over year kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And because we've stayed small and intimate, I was able to still run it in 2020. I just ran it in October. So as soon as they allowed Virginia to do the 250 people outside, I was like, great, like that's the size we were at in 2020, or at least we capped it at that. So this year, this is going to be our biggest year, I think, hopefully. But definitely the lineup says so. And I'm really excited to have you. I listen to your music and I definitely feel the vibes that you're trying to emulate and inspire in others to just like tap into the soul, tap into that tribal aspect. I think it's going to fit really well with what we've got going on and just the space in general. I just sent out an email today. Hey, for all of our workshop facilitators. But we've got like, just to give you an overview of the property and for people listening who haven't been, who might be on the fence about coming, what is this? What kind of space are we in? So it's a 55-acre property and I talk about it a lot. So if you've been watching these videos, I definitely highlight the property because it's so beautiful. But there's different places where you, for example, could be playing. The two main ones are the main stage, and then we have our pond stage, which is a pavilion by the pond or lake. And it's really, really beautiful. And then there'll be vendors all along and then up the main stage area too. And then as far as like workshop spaces, we have one of the most amazing spaces I've seen on a festival grounds is because the original owner of this property wanted to, his original intention was to create an arboretum. So all throughout the property are a different variety of trees. And one of our workshop spaces is in a pine forest, and there's
wow.
actually a big stone circle that has like space for a fire to be there. And it's like, I think Dante did a sound healing there last year, and it was just like you're just in the forest with nature, listening to sound healing, like nothing else around you. There's just like this, like all of a sudden you arrive in this forest, and it's quite amazing. The venue itself is a nonprofit. They're called Verdun Adventure Bound, and this is why it's great for kids, and why I love like bringing families in the mix, because it does bring that like joy and sparkle to FlowJam that if you're going to a festival, for example, like PAX that's 18 and up, you kind of lose a little bit of that, like, just what children bring, that innocence and that purity and that joy. So the venue itself has a zip line and it has a climbing wall, and it's a lot of Boy Scouts. Like Boy Scouts have helped build some of the spaces. So they built, if you see in the pine forest, the big stone center where the fire would be if you were doing a fire for the workshop. But yeah, it's just a really fun space. I'm excited for you to explore it and see it and bring your family too. So
Yeah. It'll be, I mean, I knew from day one, like I wanted to, maybe one day I'll take him to Burning Man, but yeah, it seems like a perfect fit to, for his first like camping kind of festival. And
yeah, a lot of our community are burners. So and they like had kids this past year. So a lot of them are like bringing their kids for the first time. So it's really special for me, especially because I've had friends that have helped me with this festival since the very beginning, and I've watched them like have babies on their on their bosoms, on their breasts, and like be carrying around doing things. And then to watch now, like the one child is 10 years old now, and still like you can see the influence that the like this community has had in a positive way that makes her really like self-assured 10-year-old. It's really great.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to like keep that going, because that definitely was missing. And one of the reasons why, you know, I focus on the healing aspect of this festival, because yeah, there just wasn't that much around when I was growing up for people to connect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me one thing, you know, I've asked this question to a couple of people I've interviewed who are traveling a lot on the road with tours and stuff, but having been to Burning Man or in different festivals, what is like the strangest, weirdest event that has happened for you during this process?
Um, I don't, not that it's like off limits, but it's a story that's like way longer to explain than we have time for here. But I'll just say that in 20, I guess it was 2019, like at Loveburn, so in Miami, um, that was like before my son was born, and also before COVID. I had an experience one night and I met this person. And I'll just say that we had a completely telepathic conversation, and I'll never forget the experience. And I don't know how to explain it because, you know, anyone I've explained it to, with exception to like a couple people, people are just like, okay, dude. Um, but like I know what happened. And yeah, it's so I would say for sure like that was one of the most memorable, like crazy experiences I've had at a, you know, festival. There's
Do you
been many, but
do you still talk to this person?
no, it was a interaction that took place probably at like 3 o'clock in the morning, um and yeah, we like hugged. I turned around and walked away and never saw the person ever again.
Wow.
Yeah, but
It's pretty magical.
I'll tell you more about it maybe at FlowJam.
Okay. Okay, totally. So, tell us, everyone who's watching, hi, definitely, where can we find your music? How can we connect with you? Yeah, are you playing anything upcoming before Flow Jam that we should be aware of?
I'm not playing anything before FlowJam, unless something pops up. I never know. So that's one of the things that comes along with like being a dad. You know, to get gigs, you have to be out like supporting everyone's events and being like, you know, everywhere all the time. And it's just impossible to do that right now. So I'm like, hey guys, remember me? Like I still play music and I would love to play. I just can't be out there all the time. I'm playing a festival in Pennsylvania the weekend of like so it's June 29th to July 3rd.
Mhm.
It's called Immersion, and it's spelled immerse John, like JAWN, because that's like a Philly, you know, Philly word that everyone uses.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be playing there. DJ Dan, Donald Glaude, my friend Lee and Chuck are the ones that throw the festival, and it's awesome. Kind of same like grassroots kind of vibes. Um, and then as far as music, I have a Mixcloud, but I don't really. I mean, I have some mixes that from like a couple years ago that are on there. But SoundCloud, just look up OKAYFINE. Um, and yeah, that's where all my mixes are. Eventually, I'll be making my own music. That's kind of in the early stages. And yeah, I'm excited to whatever time of day or night. Hopefully, I can play. You know, there's spots like to play a couple different times, like different kind of vibes. Happy to do any and all of those things, but
Yes,
um,
this is my most biggest task for Flow Jam. Well, it's I guess there's a lot of big tasks, but putting together lineup is something yeah, I've been getting better at it. But I just sent out an email to all the artists who have workshops. So as soon as I start getting that, then I'll know more. But I actually know a little bit more than I'll share with you offline. But yeah,
Cool.
I'm sure there will be, especially from what you described, having different scenes and spaces to explore is great. And yeah, I'm excited for you to just experience the space and get to know the people. And this is definitely a community to connect with, because we attract a lot of different people from different communities. So because of the music, because of the yoga and the dance and the healing and the Reiki and the vendors, and also, what else did I not mention? Oh, we're trying to get an art car this year. So more on that later, but yeah, there's a lot, but all amazing things. And I try to, as much as possible, give space within the schedule. So it's not like going to an event where you feel you need to like rest after. It's like some people have called it a restival because it offers that balance. And definitely, yeah, there are different with anything, I guess, but there are definitely different scenes that go on during the day and at night. So I'm excited to explore that with you and see how everything develops, because you just put it out there and see what happens, and every FlowJam just gets better and better. So year 10 will be a great year to step in and experience it. What was I going to say? Oh, anyone who's listening, there will be an email coming out later today for everyone who's subscribed to our email list. And we did just announce day passes. And for the first time ever, we announced evening only passes. So if people want or can't make it all day, there's actually, for the first time, opportunity to join us just for the music at night. So your ticket entry would be at 6 p.m. instead of a full day pass. So we just put up day passes, and we just, for the first time ever, put up these music evening passes, which I hope will get more people who would want to come but can't come all day and want to explore the music with us. Please check those passes out on our site at flowjamfestival.com. And yeah, we look forward to all the goodness to come. Is there anything else you wanted to share with us or make sure that we know?
I guess one question just that popped up, and for anyone else that's watching, I know there's going to be fire. So do you have to be like, is there going to be an open fire circle for other, like, if, because I spin fire, and I know Julie spins fire, and whoever else, like, is there chance to spin fire if you're not like actually
On the lineup as a fire?
right?
Yes, there is. Good question, actually. Another thing that I didn't mention about this venue is that we're right next to a fire station, a volunteer fire station. So they actually come to our festival and participate and are really awesome. And they're just trying to have a good time and make sure you have a good time. And they actually set up a perimeter by the
Nice.
stage. So it's like they're there, as fire safety as well. But yeah, there's a lot of impromptu fire spinning happening. We just ask that you know what you're doing, and that you have the proper like person there to help and support you if
Yeah,
something go awry.
cool.
Yeah, so cool. Well, I will let you go now as a busy dad. I'm sure that you are. But it has been so enjoyable talking to you and getting to know your past and your present and what you're going to bring to FlowJam. And we'll be in communicado over email and chat, and maybe I'll see you before FlowJam.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so much, and thanks for everyone who's tuning in, and I will see you soon.
Yay. All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Thanks for joining, guys. It's been such a pleasure. I love doing these lives with everyone. So let us know if you have any questions about the lineup or who we might be bringing on to our Jam Tube series. If you want to hear from someone that's on our artist lineup that you haven't seen before on our Jam Tube, please make sure to let us know in the comments, and we'll be sure to make sure get them booked in so that you can get introduced to them beforehand. I will see you guys shortly. Bye.